we don't interfere in the process. It means that we don't assess the process until the process is finished. And for us, the process is somehow completed. For us, we will not make any assessment of the process until 2 days after the elections. That means on the 14th of May, where we will present publicly a statement of preliminary findings and conclusions, where we'll have our observations until that moment. In our call, my name is Manuel Sanchez de Nogués, and I am the Deputy Chief Observer of the European Union Election Observation Mission to the Philippines. I am an European Union citizen from Spain. The government of the Philippines and the Commission on Elections invited the European Union to observe the national, midterm and local elections to take place on the 12th of May 2025. In response to that invitation, the EU deployed for the first time an EU election observation mission to the Philippines. The mission started its activities at the end of March with a team of 11 experts that are based all here in Manila. Today, we are deploying 72 long-term observers that will be traveling in teams of 2 to the different regions of the country. We will deploy 36 teams of 2 observers in all regions of the country. What you will see here today is a representation of those 36. 26 teams are already traveling to their regions by air, and these teams that you see here, these 10 teams, will be traveling by road to their final destinations in the country. But the EU deployment continues next month. On election week, we'll be joined by 100 short-term observers, a delegation of the European Parliament, and also EU member states accredited diplomats that will join our efforts to observe the election. In total, the mission will be composed on election day of more than 200 election observers. And how do we operate? The long-term election observers are the cornerstone of the EU election observation methodology. They will develop a very robust and consistent methodology that we have implemented for the last 25 years in 75 countries and in more than 200 election observation missions. The EU, as I said earlier, has developed a comprehensive and consistent election observation methodology that is implemented the same way in all countries where we observe. This methodology is based in several pillars. The first is comprehensiveness, which means that we observe all stages of the electoral process. Elections is not a one-day event. It's not only the event of the election day, but it's a process that starts with the registration of candidates, registration of voters. It also means that we need to assess the legal framework for elections. We also observe the campaign finance, the role of the media and the social media, which is very important, and of course, election day and polling and tally of the votes proceedings. And finally, the election dispute resolution, the process of how election appeals and resolutions are resolved decided by the competent authorities. That's why I say that for us it's not one-day event. We're independent. It means that we abide by the international declaration of principles on election observation that was endorsed in the United Nations in 2005, and also we abide by the laws of the country, by the laws of the Philippines, and we assess elections against, of course, the laws of the country and against international principles for democratic elections and political participation that were signed by the country, by the host country, in this regard. As I said, it's also consistent. It's also independent. We don't interfere in the process. It means that we don't assess the process until the process is finished. And for us, the process is somehow completed. For us, we will not make any assessment of the process until 2 days after the elections. That means on the 14th of May, where we will present publicly a statement of preliminary findings and conclusions, where we'll have our observations until that moment. during that between, after, before that moment, you will see that we will have a civility activity, that we are transparent. We'll show how we do we work. You will see our observers in the field. You will see them in our social media, and you will see them working in the field. But they will not make, and we will not make any assessment of the process until the 14th of